Hey everyone, so today I wanted to talk about my history with emotional eating. So I wanted to throw out a quick disclaimer that I do not have a eating disorder. It's nothing of that sort. For me, it was specifically eating food as a comfort for different things I was going through emotionally, and I wanted to be very clear on that from the very beginning. Get into this specific video from April 2015 to February 2017, there was this 2-year period where I struggled a lot. To say as an understatement. I had multiple family members pass away. I had a couple really close friends no longer be a part of my life. I was also, for quite a bit of it, struggling with whether or not I wanted to maintain my relationship with God. One of my aunts was in a same-sex relationship since before I was born. So I always knew what it meant to be gay. And I knew early on in like late elementary school that I was gay. And I also became a Christian very early on. For reasons, I suppressed my sexuality. I buried deep into the closet and I hung out there. And when my aunt passed away, I started to struggle with myself. I took those emotions and thoughts with my bubbling sexuality coming to the surface and buried it. A year after she passed away, I started having to confront it more. And also at the time, there was a guy who I developed very strong feelings for that I believed I was in love with because it made me feel straight. And I so much wanted to be straight. We never were able to have a chance of being together because pretty much God always shut the door the entire time. And so I was bitter and resentful and angry at God for that. And I started to feel like I was missing out on life. So as I was coming closer to leaving the church and essentially no longer growing my relationship with God, I was realizing that my identity would die. Everything about me at this point was centered around God. Like how I spent my time, my money, my gifts, how I viewed people, relationships, friendships, the world, myself. It was all tied up into Jesus. And so to walk away from that meant I no longer really had identity. Like I needed to develop a new one. And there was a very painful adjusting, growing period there, and also just the fact I'm like, do I want to do this? My internal emotional health was terrible, and so the more that this happened, the more I would eat different comfort foods, different sweets, fast food, etc., because for a moment in time the food made me feel better, and then I started putting on weight. And it made me feel worse about myself because I started to put on a lot of weight. I put on like 30 plus pounds. I would start to wear clothes that would hide my growing stomach, distract from my like swelling thighs. Eventually got to a point where I could no longer hide it and none of my clothes were fitting anymore. And so I would have to go to the store to buy new clothes, and somehow in my mind it didn't make sense to me that because my clothes didn't fit I would be a larger size, because like in my mind I wanted to pretend I was still a smaller size than I was. I would try on clothes that were like my old size and that would depress me because I would be like, wow, I can't fit this. And then I would try on the new clothes and like sometimes they wouldn't fit, or sometimes they did fit and it was just like, wow, this fits me and this is a bigger size. And it made me super like uncomfortable and sad, and I would eat more food and because it would make me feel better for like 5 minutes, and then I would feel sad and like worse again. And so it was just this terrible cycle where the worse I felt, the more I ate, the worse I felt, and it just kept going around and around. So in February 2017, I came across Sam and Alyssa's channel, and I watched several. I kind of started to binge watch their videos. You know, I saw them as the type of couple who like exercised together and who cooked healthy meals together. And I was like, you know what? I would love to have that. Cause like at the time I was still like not sure if I wanted to be like with a girl or a guy or whatever, blah, blah, blah type thing. But I was like, you know, I want to be one half. Like I didn't think about the other half. I just thought about my half. I'm like, I want to be part of that half of a couple that like exercises together and is like, you know, is a healthy inside and out. I also, from them, found the channel Now This Is Living, and at the time that I was watching these videos, it was when Shannon and Cami were a couple, and then I found Rose and Rosie's channel. And so as this continued, I basically realized, no, I want to be with a woman. And so I watched Sam and Alyssa's engagement video that has a cover of James Arthur's Say You Won't Let Go, and that song basically became to me this symbol that I wanted to be a healthy person inside and out, and I wanted to love and be loved by someone. This was the history leading up from like what the root it was, where it was like really starting, all the ways to what was making me realize I needed to change. And so tomorrow I'm gonna be talking about what happened post-change and like where I am after this until now, like basically the past 7 months. If you enjoyed this at all, like hearing me talk about this part of my life, essentially, I don't know, go ahead and give it a like. You can subscribe and hit the little bell. That way, especially, you'll know exactly when my video goes up tomorrow because you'll get a notification. So until then, I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good one. Bye.